Good evening. Is anybody out there on this delightfully chilly evening? Hope you're all tucked up warm and cosy inside. It's just been a bit grey and a bit dull, hasn't it? So I'm just waiting to see if anybody's coming about. If you can say hello. We had a problem on Saturday with my laptop not showing the comments, so I am going to open up my phone as well. So bear with me because it will probably start talking, which is really off-putting. Right, let me see if I can... It says I'm live. Right, so I'm going to also share that into our little group. If anybody... no, not that one. Share it into our Stamps Away group. So just for anybody that likes to watch in there. Right, okay, so, hi, right, so I can see Maxine's comment, so is that good? Is that, I'm going to have this open just in case, but good evening. Right, knew that I'd do that. So off-putting when that speaks. Right, so I've got that. So Sandra's watching, Maureen's watching. Hi, Maureen. So first things first, we had a lovely online workshop on Sunday. It was the first one we've ever done. I think everybody enjoyed it. Certainly what they made was just spectacular. So I have put another one online for, don't cover up your notes, for the 23rd of February. I know that doesn't give us a massive amount of time, but this one's a little bit different. There's not going to be a kit to order. It is just... It's a junk journaling one. Thanks, Maxine. And the group, what we do is we set up a group here on Facebook that's private just for the people taking the workshop. But what's really nice is we've been able to share what everybody's been making as well. So it is really nice as well. So it's not just you listening to me endlessly babbling on. So yeah, on the 23rd of February, we're going to be running a junk journaling one. So we are going to start with whatever you've got at home, a pile of stuff. I'll give you some suggestions. And then we will make a journal, and then we will make pockets, and we will do all sorts of things, and we will share ideas. It is going to run from 10 till 2 on the 23rd. But the nice thing is you can dip in and out. So on Sunday when people had other things to do, they were able to dip in later. Just means that you can't necessarily do the interactive bit, but because it's a Facebook group, you still can as well after the event. So we had a couple of birthdays that needed cake delivering for grandkids and things like that. So it was really nice, and it's a lovely, safe environment. But that's going to be 23rd of February. You can book your place on the website. I have put a link in the doodah today. Managed to do that. I have also popped up quite a few more workshops on the website, so check them out. I want to draw your attention to the 15th of February, where we're having a mixed media mayhem Saturday, which is where we do all sorts of things with pastes and paint and stuff like that. We're going to do a canvas, but we are also going to make rather nice little desk tidy. So check that out. And then a new one I've put up on the 29th of March is called Perfect Paper Crafting. And that's going to be all things paper, mini books, cards, all kinetic cards, all sorts of different things, because those of you that have missed out on the one this Saturday, which is fully booked, which is a stamping one, it's kind of a little bit like that as well, but different. So if you want to come to both, you can. So hi to Jackie, hi to Michelle, hi to Claire, hi to Louise, hi to Maria. I think, yeah, right, okay, my phone and my laptop are matching. Woohoo! Right, so let's get into what we're going to be doing today. Today I'm going to be going over the Belgian bind. This was a kit we launched yesterday on Highlight, but we had a little bit of a nightmare getting there. So the first show was changed on times and stuff. So I appreciate not everybody was able to catch it. So hopefully, as we speak, hi Diane. Hi. As we speak, Paul should be uploading the images to the website. So that you can go, but again, they're in the sections for the Facebook Live, there should be the Belgian bind. I have also put the dust masks on there just because the more I think about it, the more you should have them in your crafty stash. And at the price we've got them, which is 4 boxes of 20 for £9.99, there's just no excuse not to have them. Right, going to bring some stuff forward. You've seen me for enough. Let's go to that one, do that. Okay. Didn't move my... That tells you I'll wipe the table. Right, so the Belgian bind kit. Let me just show you what you get. So you get 2 of the slim notepads, 2 of the really nice A5 desk pads. These are the ones that you can actually divide down the middle there. It's perforated, so you've got half plain, half lined, but you can actually separate them to smaller to make them into A6. So you get 2 of those, and then you get the covers already pierced up for you to correspond with these. So you get 2 pairs of the tall thin ones, 2 pairs of the A5 ones, and then you get... Hi Carly! I have to say big shout out to Carly for yesterday because she kept supplying me with cups of tea, which was fabulous, and then we had a lot of fun on our shows as well. She was a little star. Makes a good cup of tea, by the way, if you happen to be popping past Highlight. Right, and 2 A5 ones, and then you get the corresponding spines for them, yeah? So that's what you get in the kit, and this kit is not designed to be something that you can't recreate. It's not one of these things that you use the kit up and then that's that forgotten. By having 4 of enough to do 4 books in the kit, it means that you can really get to grips with this bind and then you can apply it to other things. So these are the memo pads made as they are in the kit. So nicely bound, little pad glued in, and then you've got a really nice little memo pad with a hard cover over it. I've decorated them very basically, okay? And this is the A5 version. Went a bit more to town on this, did crackle glaze. There's your notepad in there. I put a pocket on here so you can see you can start to build it up. But what is really fabulous is when you just throw the rule book out and you do your own thing. So this, you've got the, I mean, obviously I'm going to do the bind this evening as well, but you will also see that there is YouTube where I go through. And the great thing with this bind is you can move where the holes are. So this one, if I go to that and that, so this one, can you see what I've made that out of? That is cardboard. So this is no longer the kit per se. I've used one of the covers of that as a template, and then I've done some different holes in it. And then what does this open up to be? It's a diorama inside because you've got this depth here. And again, just out of cardboard and obviously smidge of graphic 45. So it's really, really lovely for extending your creativity. So yes, get the kit because the kit will give you the ones to practice on, and be really nice little books that you can make, but then you've got the confidence to branch out and do your own thing. So that's the basic thing for the Belgian bind. I just wanted to throw this in here. This is my junk journal, just to give you a little sort of hint of the sort of things we might be up to on that online workshop. You know, all sorts of things going on in there. So online workshop, don't forget to check that out. Right, let's make a Belgian bind. So I'm just going to reach and get a few bits. So this is not compulsory. You don't need to have an entomology box. I am using it because where my overhead camera sits, I can't do this the way I normally do, which is I normally have it hanging over the edge of the table. But obviously if I had it hanging over the edge of the table, I'll just do it now. You can't see it, okay? That's actually hanging over the edge of the table. So I've had to fake the edge of the table, and I'm just going to use my entomologist box because then I can do that and you can still see what I'm doing. Isn't that cool? So, Belgian bind. What makes me laugh is the actual name of this is the secret Belgian bind. Worst kept secret in the world, because we all love sharing it. But what's nice with this particular bind is that you make a cover in separate from the actual book. We'll come to how we put books inside it in a bit, but it's completely separate. So it means that this could be the cover to go around an existing book. This could be a cover to go around your phone or your tablet. That's a bit weird. You know, it could be that you don't use this as a book at all. You use it like I did as a diorama. You could make the little shelves in there. You could make it into the potions. You know, honestly, it can be so much. And also when it is done, it lays nice and flat. And it just looks really impressive. Now, this one, the dragonfly one, obviously I painted it all up beforehand. But again, with the ones in the kit, start with them just plain. You can cover them with paper later, or you could even unlace them once you've learnt the technique. It's nice and easy. So I wouldn't overcomplicate it for yourself to begin with. Now, I have forgotten one of my very important tools for this, so we're just going to have to manage without it. So you arrange your covers, the holes close together, and that spine in the middle. Now, if you're doing a decorative one and you want the front to be all decorative, that has to be on your left hand side. Okay, so good evening, Deborah, and I don't know if I said good evening to Kelly or Dawn, so evening. Right, so we're going to make a start. All I've done is I've taken some baker's twine and I have popped it on a needle. Okay, it doesn't need to be a sharp needle, so it's just to help you thread. So if you've got one of those kids threading sets that's got the really nice big chunky plastic needle, you could use that to thread ribbon or anything like that. The only thing I would say is if you are doing ribbon, and this comes from having taught it on the ship recently, don't do ribbon for your first one if you like everything to be perfectly neat and tidy. Let me explain what I mean by that. When you're doing this, there is a little risk that your ribbon will twist. Now, if you want your ribbon to be laying perfectly flat, you don't want to be worrying about that when you're learning to do the bind. So what I suggest, Kate, did you, if you've only just joined, you missed the thing about Junk Journal online workshop. Go back to the beginning and you'll find out about it. Just, I know you're quite keen on that. Yeah, so if you're doing this for the first time and you want your ribbon to lay flat, practice with some string first, because the last thing you want to be worrying about is untangling the ribbon and learning the bind. Okay? Right, so have your string. So start from... Did you see that? Let's start again. So start there, go through the first hole and leave yourself a tail. Now, normally I have a little bulldog clip or a peg. Oh, I've got a peg. I've always got I have a peg clipped to my basket. Don't look in there. That's bad. So that'll do. And the reason I do that is it means I can clip away like this. And I can pull against that and I'm not worrying about undoing something. Because with bookbinding, you don't knot things until you're finished. Okay, so we've come down and then I'm going to come back up the middle, over the spine and back up the hole. Okay, so it's not really a stitch as such, it's more of a weave. Okay, and now I'm going to go back the other way. So I'm going to go down. Now, have a ridiculously long string, okay? The reason we have a ridiculously long string is if I drop it on the floor, my needle... Yes, Kate, you did. 23rd of Feb. Okay, right, back up. So, yeah, long needle. Long thread means if you drop it on the floor, your needle doesn't fall off. Back down that hole. Now... The easiest way to remember what you're doing with this bind is the rule of 2, or the rule of twice, actually. Everything needs to be done twice. Okay, and I'll explain what I mean by that. when I get to the end here. So I've come up this hole. Now you can see I'd already done that. So that means I've done it twice now. I've gone down that slot twice. I've gone across there twice. I've gone down that hole twice. Means I've finished that line. And now I'm ready to jump up to the next line. Now this is why we work on the edge of the table or raised up like I am, because it means that we can access both sides of this really easily. Okay, so I'm just, and if you're worried about holding it, just weight something on the end. One always has a small flat iron with them. Okay, so we just do exactly the same thing. Up and down, and we always move up the spine. So whatever we're doing, it goes above the one we've previously done, and that's what helps hold it all together. Okay. So, and then up there, and you will get quicker. Okay. So anybody that's interested in the junk journaling workshop, the online workshop, all you need to start doing is just saving some bits and pieces. Save some cereal box, save some junk mail, anything that's got interesting colours or something that you like. A lot of people ask, you know, oh, how do you decide what to keep? Now, obviously, we're crafters, which means the rule is we keep everything. But no, choose what, this is going to sound wrong, what attracts you the most. Are you a person who is drawn to colour? You know, do you pick something because, oh, I like that colour? Or are you somebody like me who's like, oh, I like how that feels, or I like that texture? So that's how you start to decide what to start saving. So for me, I like sort of interesting shapes and texture. I'm not so worried about the colour because I can change the colour. But other people really, you know, they're the rainbow people. You could walk into a shop and know which dress they're going to pick because it's nice bright colours. You know, so and then in which case I would say to those sort of people, save all your brightly coloured paper bags, junk mail. You know, you can't knock farm foods for how bright their leaflet is that comes through the door. So start saving things like that, and then that will give you your resources. So unlike the workshop we did this weekend, where if you didn't have the stamps and things in the stash, you bought the kit. This one is going to be all you need to do is start saving some stuff, and we will make something out of it. Now obviously, yes, you could use jelly prints, because I only got a little gel plate just before Christmas, and already I have a big pile of prints that I've been experimenting with and stuff. And yes, so they make brilliant bases for pages. They can be chopped up. You know, even ones that you think are a bit of a disaster are perfect. So what you can see while I'm talking is I'm just continuing up my spine here. And again, I'm applying that rule of 2. So I've gone down that hole 1, 2. So I know I'm not going to need to do that hole again. As I go across there, it's 2. Up here, it's 2. So now I'm ready to jump up. Okay. And it's as easy as that. Once you get into the rhythm, it is lovely. You made your own jelly plate. Brilliant. Was it just with did you do the gelatin with, is it alcohol as well, so that it preserves? Because I did look at that because I thought that appealed to me. But I wondered if for me I needed a bit more robust one, because also, you know, there is an element of fluff in our house. The fluffs are downstairs at the moment. So yeah, I think Jackie, you're gonna have a few questions now, because yeah, that's really amazing. So yes, definitely, yeah, your jelly prints would be. Also, anybody that knows me, I like my eco printing and things like that, and your tea staining. And if anybody's getting any Amazon deliveries between now and the 23rd of February, keep the brown paper from that, because they are gelatin, glycerin, that's the other one I keep forgetting, and rubbing alcohol. Yeah, and it holds up all right. Do you have to keep it in the fridge, or because I did look at that, because the one I got, I wasn't sure how I would get on with it, because I don't like to, you know, splash out on things if I'm not going to get a lot of use out of it. So I just got a little one to try, and yeah, I was quite impressed. So yes, I might explore that. And rubbing alcohol, is that the same as isopropylene? No, you don't need to keep it in the fridge. Brilliant, thank you. Right, we do realise that if anybody's not washing that back, those comments aren't going to make any sense, but teach them not to watch. Right, so you can see I'm still working up here. It doesn't take long, and I mean, I'm chatting away, I'm reading comments, it's not rocket science. Now this point where I'm starting to tip off the table, if you are confident turning it round the other way and continue to work, but you'll have to do everything in reverse, by all means do that. But if you're not confident like that, you can either stand it up and do it, or just get it as close as you can to the edge and still be supported. Okay, up we go. Yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. It depends how thick you make it. Right. Okay, there we go. I might be investigating that, Jack. I think that would be right. So the last hole is going to be a little bit trickier. So I'm just going to move that away so I can then just support it. It's only one hole. Okay. Back to there. And you can see it's starting to hold its shape. So actually it's being quite forgiving. So last one. Out there. Round, round. There. Okay. I didn't measure the twine, but I have to say, pretty close. So that's why you want to be really generous with your twine, because you don't want to run out, because you're going to end up with a knot. Right, I'm just going to move that entomology box out of the way. Right, so I've got to the end. And that is my bind basically done, except I need to just make sure it's all nice and tight at this point. You can give things a little tug and stuff. And then you're going to secure that with a little sort of slip knot. Pull that nice and tight. Last weekend is... Yeah, so basically, yeah, with the online workshops, we create a Facebook group just for that workshop. So that the reason I'm not putting them all in the same group is I would then have to kick people out that, you know, aren't taking part in the next workshop and stuff, and then they lose access to the previous one. So each time we do a workshop, we set up a separate group. And then you have access to that, and it's filled with all the lovely... Yes. Sorry, I'll come back to you, Maxine, in a minute. You've distracted me with my favourite words. So yeah, you then have access to that group from... I'm going to set it up earlier this time. I set it up quite late this time, but I'm going to set it up early so everybody can get to know each other. You can start sharing what you've gathered, and then you have access to that group. We chat beforehand, we chat during the actual workshop. It will run live from the from that group, so that you can watch the video live, but also you can go back and watch them. So if you have to dip out for any reason, you can still enjoy the videos, because I have looked at Zoom and all of those, and I can't see a way of making sure you can still easily access the videos. So that's why I've done it that way. Right, cyanotype printing. I have got cyanotype paper to try, but this is really spooky, okay? I didn't know this conversation was going to happen. I do have, just beside me, some anthotype printing. This is going to be a workshop and a kit for Hobby Maker. So obviously we've just done our first Hobby Maker show, and we have got more planned, 5th of February, 9th of March. That's as far as I'm going at the moment. But this particular kit, I think I'm going to launch nearer to summer, because obviously with anything like that, you need UV light. So this is anthotype. This is using turmeric as the activation. So yes, watch this space, I think is the thing. Right, what weight of paper do you use for signatures? That's a kind of how long as a piece of string question. It really, really depends what you're doing. When you're first practicing, I recommend you start with something simple like copier paper, because you're not going to become precious over it. Obviously where's my junk journal gone? Where has my junk journal gone? How can I have lost my junk journal in? Because I put it on the shelf safely. So this one, no, not that one. This one, which you can see is a multi-signature book. We have everything from this amazing old paper, which you can see is really translucent and thin, to map, to a paper bag, to quite thick acetate, to sheet music. So, you know, literally you can have any weight. What you need to do, you also need a glass fusing kit with a kiln, please. Just come and play at ours. We have lots of them. Maria, are you still there? Because if you are, tell her how many kilns we have. I have lots, because we have 6 large ones. We have 15 or 16 of the smaller ones. 8 microwaves. We're sorted. So yeah, this has got all sorts of weights in it. So really, the only thing when you're considering what weight to make your signatures is what are you going to be doing with it. If you're going to be doing watercolour and stuff like that, then you want a heavier weight. I mean, this is actually an envelope, so that's got a decent weight to it. This is some old graph paper, again, decent weight. So I know on those sort of ones I can throw all my paints and stuff like that, and I know it's going to support. Whereas something as delicate as that lovely paper I had at the start, I knew I wouldn't be able to get very much. So I've stapled some other bits on, just lightweight, so it's not going to damage the paper, and it's going to support it. The only thing you need to bear in mind is how many pages you fold together to make your signature if you're going for thicker paper. So normally when I'm doing a bookbinding workshop, we use copier paper, 80 GSM, and when they're doing their signatures, I say fold 5 pieces together to make a signature. We've now got, I managed to get it at a super bargain. lots of kilns, yeah. We have a lot of kilns. They're good fun though. So this paper I got at a super bargain. It's really nice, but it's a bit thicker. So I'm only going with 4 pages in there. So it really depends. And also you can tell as you fold it over, and I didn't fold that brilliantly because I didn't do individual pages and tuck them in. You'll see it will start to fan out at the end there. So take some pages away. Right, so how do we add pages or signatures to our Belgian bind? Now, there is a correct way to do it, which is where you pierce your holes in and you stitch and you go round and you go back in. And it's great and it looks lovely, but it is a little bit of a faff. So, yes. Yeah. You know the stuff that we've been keeping and you haven't got a use for it yet? That's the stuff. Go grab that out of the bin. Have I left everybody enough recycling days between now and the 23rd, hopefully? And it's a good junky time because it's end of year, so you're getting a lot of stuff, accounting stuff. There's a lot of brown envelopes kicking about. Right, so going back to adding pages into this journal. So this one, I cheated. This is the kit you can buy from us is a cheat kit. You get they're wrapped up in plastic, but when you take them out, they are little notepads and you just literally glue them in. Okay, so you can go as simple as that. Or, as I say, there is on the YouTube, I show you how to do it properly. But I discovered this way of doing it as well, because if you look here, that to me just looks like a ring binder, Filofax, Rolodex, whatever you want to call it. So I thought, if I just take a piece of ribbon, and the other thing with this method, it means I can add to my journal. I don't have to put all the pages in straight away. I don't know how big I want my journal to be. I don't know how many things I'm going to gather. So, and also the reason I like the Belgian bind for a junk journal is because we've got this predetermined spine here. I can decide when to stop putting signatures in and allow myself the space for that lovely blowing out that junk journals do. So I've just taken a length of ribbon. Now I could just put that and tie it through like that, but I found it slipped. So what I do is I go and I take a little nick. So when I put this in, my ribbon slots in and I can tie that. Now, when you think of this, what else could you think that now I can add to the journal really easily? All those nice greeting cards. You can literally snip the corners, tie some nice ribbon through, and they can become a signature within your journal. Now, how you tie this, if you decide to do a fancy knot, a fancy bow, whatever. And I mean, I'm using really, really lovely, bright pink ribbon, you know, subtle and understated. I always struggle. I've said this before. I always struggle tying knots when I'm, going to mess that up completely. Yeah, that's not tight enough. But yeah, you just tie it nice and tight. And then you can keep adding in more and more until your journal is full. And that's the cheats way of adding pages in to the Belgian bind. So that's not a secret, that's a cheat. But that's the great thing. So then obviously, I say, when you get more experience doing it and you're happier, you can do all your paint effects. You can add pockets and things like that. But I would never do that on your first one, because you've got to make sure that you don't plug the holes up. You know, there's just more things to worry about. But you can still have lots of fun just straight on the MDF. And this, I'm going to do this for you now. I know, my knots. Wrap round twice. Yeah, but I'd got to pull it tight. That was the problem. I just, honestly, as soon as I try and tie a knot, it's the weirdest thing. My fingers just don't cooperate. I can do it, like, if nobody's watching, tie's fine. But as soon as I try to do it with people watching, my fingers just lack coordination. And they just... See, I hid it there, you couldn't see it. That's a bit better. But you can then slide that knot down and have it hanging, you know, I would wiggle that like this. And then you can have little bits out the top. I just, you know, anything sort of tactilely. As I say, I'm a touchy-feely person. That sounds really dodgy. Don't read that out. Okay, so let's just have a little play because we've got a few minutes. So that was what I wanted to show you, was how easy this is as a bind. And it's a nice one. You don't need to have loads of special, you don't need the sewing frame and things like that. You can still do this. And anybody that is wanting to join us for the online workshop, yeah, the surgeon's knot, yeah, I do that when but not when my fingers don't work. Because I did ask Eileen once if in surgery the doctors go, let's do a crafter's knot. Apparently they don't. Yeah, so I was going to say, this idea of this bind, one of the really, really lovely things I like about it is when you take pre-existing book covers, so charity shop, damaged books, hardback covers, and you punch the holes in them and you make a new cover out of the old damaged one. And I'm on the hunt for the old Reader's Digest sets of books, you know, with the faux leather covers in the red, the green and the blue and the, you know, with the gold. I just thought they would be really nice as a cover for your journal. The surgeon's not. Is this kit on your website? Yes, it is. It should be. Might be minus a picture. Let me know if he's done his job. It should be on the website. Down the left-hand side, there should be the Facebook Lives, and if you click in there, you should find the Belgian bind kit. Right, so just very simply, I'm not going to take up too much of your time this evening. A couple of reasons. One, I'm getting tired. It's been a busy, because that was the thing I noticed on Sunday, because the online workshop we did on Sunday, I went till 4 o'clock, but I didn't realise when you are doing an online workshop and you haven't got all the lovely people there talking to you, yes, we're type talking, but you're not talking. I realised, right, can't find the stamp. It's under my phone. I realised that actually I was starting to flag because I talked a lot. So, so I've changed it to go 10 till 2. So hopefully I should be able to keep the energy up, which I possibly didn't have quite as much towards the end of the workshop on Sunday. Okay, so I'm just using some VersaFine Claire, and I'm going to stamp my vine from my Floral Creations. Okay, I love this stamp so much. There we go. And again, if you were pre-planning this, you could stamp your spine. But again, the reason I don't suggest that when you're learning something is you've then got to be careful not to let it flip over and things like that. So I've got that going along there, and I did have, oh dear, you can tell I'm tired because I'm like, I can't find anything. I had white paint, got white paint, I had a paintbrush. Hello paintbrush, where, if you were a paintbrush, where would you be? Nope. There you are, underneath my printing. Right, so a little bit of white paint, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of white. Now, I appreciate that I've gone over the lines of the stamp, but sometimes you'll find that actually that will, as it dries, it will just hint through. If it doesn't, it's hinting through there a little bit more. If it doesn't, you can always go back in with a pen and add that detail back on. But I really like whiting out bits on MDF. Let the natural colour of the wood come through. Wood, MDF. I mean, it was wood in a previous life, but it's a bit... You can see, I don't know if you can see on camera, but that line is just coming through. This could be a sparkly paint, but I'm just using white gesso. Could be a white gel pen. I just think it's a really lovely, subtle way of decorating up the cover. Okay. There we go. But again, think of the things that you could make your covers out of. And because it's all about the holes and how you thread them, I suppose thread, weave, as long as you can roughly calculate the division, okay, so you want an even number of holes and things like that, and you can evenly space them. Doesn't have to be an exact measurement. You know, it doesn't have to be 1 centimetre. You could just take something of an even spacing and just divide it up. Okay, there you go. Right, Elsbeth. I asked a few friends had they any old books, and one friend gave me about 4 that dated back to 1840s. I just couldn't know. Don't deconstruct those. Keep them. Yeah, and read them and enjoy them. But sometimes you will get, I mean, I've got downstairs from some of Mum's stuff, I've got an old Stanley Gibbons, anybody who collects stamps will know that name, stamp catalogue. It's got no monetary value other than it's really nice, and the cover is loose for that. And I've also got Mum's stamp collection, so I was actually thinking of taking the covers, binding them like this, and putting in, you know, the leaves, the sheets that you put the stamps into that in the, and I just thought that'd be really, really cool. Right, so there you go. That's obviously, you can go to town on that. I just wanted to do a very quick show you what you can. You don't have to worry about having it decorated before you bind it. There's plenty you can do. We could add some paper to this. I could add more stamping, but because this bind lays perfectly flat when it's open, you can do things like stamping on it after it's bound. You try to do that on a normal book, it's really hard because it's not going to lay flat, but this does. So you can decorate, you can cover it with paper, you can do whatever. And also when I've covered these with wallpaper, I do tend to, if I'm not decorating it all with paint, if I'm looking at paper, I do tend to leave that plain anyway, just because it's really lovely and it's really tactile. And you've done that, celebrate that. So that's that. But another quick way of putting things inside these is you can do things like your accordion books, you know, have it so it folds out. I did have one, no, it must still be downstairs, but I had one which is an accordion book. It doesn't have to be a book like this. You can make, I haven't got, because this is an A5 book, this book I'm going to show you, you'd make with an A6 cover. Does that make sense? So this is going to be too small for the book I've just made, but I haven't got any A3 paper up here. So we're going to do what is called a one-sheet wonder book, which can then become a signature within your Belgian bind. So what I'm doing is I'm dividing my paper up into 4. So again, you don't have to measure, you're just folding. So you're going in half and then back to the middle. And I'm folding backwards and forwards on each one. Okay, there we go. So that I've got nice movement. And I'm running my finger down. You could use a bone folder. Okay, so just getting those nice, crisp, but bent backwards and forwards. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it across the middle there. If ever you're struggling to fold white paper, move on to something really dark, because then you can see it easier. Okay, and again, I'm going to go back on myself. And then what we need to do is we need to create a slit from that point there to that point there. Now, if you're confident with a knife, by all means. If you're not, fold it and just cut the tiniest slither off. Okay, all the way to that other mark. Okay, so we've now got a gap in the middle. Ooh, a mouth. So pulling that mouth apart and pinching, push down till you make a cross, and then you can fold it round, and you've created a little 4-page book signature, which on your smaller one, or if you've got A3 paper, do the same. Again, ribbon. But actually, who says all the signatures have to be the same size? Because we've got this ring binder, fold the other way. What do you mean? Oh, on that one, it's exactly the same whether you go that way or whether you go that way. It's the same thickness. I'm assuming that's what you meant, Maxine. So we can attach this inside here, because actually, again, that's something that's nice. Your signatures don't all have to be the same size. They do if you're making a sort of a normal book, but with junk journals and things like that, it doesn't have to be. So again, I've got because we've got these say ring binder. It is very much like a ring binder, because we haven't just got a point there and a point there. It means that I can do exactly the same as I did with the other section. Oh, to cut it. Yeah. Wasn't sure what you meant. I know you're probably shouting. It's quite, when you're trying to type something, and as I said on Sunday, there is this very, very slight delay between what I'm doing and what comes up on the screen. So sometimes I might have moved on, and I'm trying. It does make it a little bit more challenging. Right, so again, you could do your little notches, but just tie this in. Let's all not watch me tie a knot again, because that's just a disaster. Okay. Not going to tie it properly. And then you've got another little book within, you know, so you can just build it up, and there's so much you can do. But we could spend hours doing that, and I'm looking at the time, and we need to sort of just probably bring everything to a conclusion. So anyway, that was the Secret Belgian Bind, and I say very easy for you to expand on that once you've learnt it. So the kit gives you enough to make for 2 with the little mini see, this is why I need to 2 with the mini memo books. That was harder than it should have been. And 2 A5. Again, just because I'm giving you these notebooks doesn't mean you have to put those in. You know, you're just basically, you're getting 4 sets of covers with the spines, and then you're getting some notebooks as well. But I do think these are really cute little notebooks anyway. And these ones, I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I swap to that one. Can you see it's half lined, half plain? And that actually's got perforations, so if you wanted to chop them up into smaller ones, you can do. And I tend to, when I'm putting them in, I just cover them with something that coordinates. Okay, so that's the Belgian Bind kit. That's on the website. And the other thing, I'm going to go talk to you. The other thing that I've uploaded is loads of new workshops. So we have got the main ones I want to draw your attention to. Are you paying attention? Is 15th of February, mixed media. So that is all things paint, inks, pastes, stencils, and texture and things like that. You will be doing a canvas and I don't know why I'm pointing because you can't see it, and a little desk tidy. Yeah, I'm optimistic on desk tidying. So that's that one. 23rd of February. It is a Sunday. It is a junk journal online workshop. £10 to join in. And there'll be a private Facebook group where we all can congregate. And there'll be 4 hours of live video of me talking you through and showing you loads of different techniques for junk journaling. And then that group will stay up where you can share ideas, and we'll throw more things in and stuff as well. So that's 23rd of February. And then the next one is the 29th of March, which is perfect paper crafting, easier to type than say. And that is again, so it's predominantly card making, but everything we do card making can be adapted into journals, pieces of framed art, you know, anything like that. So that's perfect paper crafting. That is a Saturday. So they're your sort of, there's loads of others on there. There's paper making, there's the glass fusing on there. There's obviously loads of book bindings. March book bindings already sold out, and I'd only just put it up today. So yeah, just check out the website for those. Dates for your diary at the moment. The next trip out for me is February the 5th when I'm back at Hobby Maker. Got a nice workshop this weekend, and then otherwise it's back here next week, and it's the last, is that the last Wednesday of the month? Yes, it's the last Wednesday of the month. So I think, if you've been good, I will do a little bit of Have you seen my diary? Away on the 20th. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kate. But the online ones, even if you can't join in live, you still have access to the video. So you don't have to join in live. We have people dipping in and out, you know, only doing half of it. And you can just join in afterwards. It's just the interaction bit. But because it's a Facebook group, you can comment and stuff, and I will still see it, but it won't be live like this. So yeah. What was I saying? Can't remember. Yes, so this time next week, same place. And as it's the last of the month, so this is the last of our new, so the new for the new year. So we've done the new bind, made a new book. So we'll have a little bit of a sale show. I'll find some bits that are lurking and a little bit of a recap before we start February's theme, which is Queen of Hearts. So hope you have a nice rest of the evening. I don't know why these pens, do you know what? These pens are going to feature next week. I found another box of them. So stay tuned. The Boo Blush pens are back. You're not having this one though. They're everywhere. To be fair, one normally has a bookbinding needle in his head. So we're going to call it a night now, because as you can probably tell, I'm starting to flag a little bit tired. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Have fun.